It's with a heavy heart that I'm going to report this one because the Author Nation Book Conference is now canceling science fiction author Richard Fox. This is a terrible thing, and I'm going to go over the history of this because Richard's had a long history of actually talking here. This is in his hometown. It's in Las Vegas, Nevada, and to have this done to him now is just a travesty, and it's all because the pronoun gangs took over this conference and are trying to create a safe space away from anybody who has different opinions about these things. They try to force the pronouns on everybody else, and Richard Fox said no, bravely said no, bravely said he's not going to tolerate that kind of thing, so they went after him. Now, this used to be called the 20 Books to 50K conference, and I actually have gone a couple of times, enjoyed it quite a bit. Learned a lot there as an author. And of course, I've got all my author links in the description below. If you're new to the channel, you guys can check out my books and everything we're doing here. It really helped me with my business back in the day when it was owned by those people. Now, they apparently sold the conference, and when they sold it, it's now gone to some other folk who are, of course, doing this now. We'll get into what's happening to Richard Fox, and I'll cover, of course, who Richard Fox is, too, because, he's a huge, huge science fiction author on Amazon. And a lot of those guys on Amazon, even though they sell hundreds of thousands of books, they're not name people that you know who they are. They have that Amazon ecosystem, and Richard deserves actually some notoriety. So let's get him some. So instead of shilling my books today, I'm going to actually shill Richard Fox's books for you guys. Do something a little different because our mission here is really to fight the culture war, to stop this kind of nonsense, to protect conservative authors, to, of course, uplift people who are really, really good at what they do, like Richard, and to call out this kind of nonsense. And so if you are new to the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button here. Really appreciate you for being there. And let's make some difference in this world. So Richard Fox's book, The Ember War, is a 10-book series. I've read the whole thing. I can attest that it's fantastic. He writes action better than almost anybody out there. He really does. And this is a beautiful, beautiful book. It's on Amazon, like I said. The whole series is great. And he's got spin-off series. He's actually doing other stuff now. I'll go into the whole spiel in just a moment. But let's talk about Author Nation. So Author Nation, like I said, is a conference in Las Vegas. It is. It's meant to be. It's meant to be a sales conference, focused on business, the largest indie author conference in the world. It used to be called 20 Books to 50K. And a guy, Craig Martell, started 20 Books to 50K. And the point of it was, he wanted to move to Cabo. And so he started a Facebook group. And he's like, he did the math. He had a few books out there. And he's like, it'll take me, if all my books sell the same, and I'm paraphrasing, it'll be about 20 books before I hit $50,000 and can retire to Cabo, and that's what I need to do that. And so that's what he wanted for his profits. That was his goal. And so his thought was how do I maximize things so I can get there the fastest and actually do that? Turns out he got his dream far ahead of 20 books out there. Craig's a great writer as well, by the way, if you've not checked out his science fiction books. But he found out doing the math that it would take about 20 books released to get to $50,000. So that's a noble goal. It's a very much a capitalist type of goal. It's is trying to figure out the best ways to work in business, and that's what that group was about. And so I learned a lot from them, and actually used that a lot in my own marketing and things like that, and have used a lot of the back end things that they do, and have made connections through their conference and their group back in the day. Now they sold the conference, of course, at some point to a bigger conference. And now it's retitled Author Nation because I guess that's more of a general appeal type of a word. And you can see they've just got publishers, partners. Lulu's a big publisher. The big print-on-demand stuff. You've got our speakers and our programming. We can look at a bunch of names here for who's all involved. And let's see, speakers. You've got a bunch of people I've heard of before on here. Some of them are not. Some of them are science fiction people. Some of them are not. Jan Chaney, perennial #1 bestseller out there. This is another one that's just way up there in the charts. Craig Martell I mentioned earlier, and so you've got a bunch of heavy hitters in here. A lot of people are in genres that are not science fiction, so I'm not going to be as aware of them as others. But I know that if they're up on this podium and doing this, because I've been to these conferences before, that these people are big sellers out there. Wordfire Press is another one that's been around for a long time. You can see they've got a lot going on here. Kevin J. Anderson, he wrote a bunch of Star Wars books back in the day. You might be familiar with him. Lots of stuff here. Quinn Brooks Ward is a marketing guru who just is really good with Amazon ads and things like that. And we got people from Lulu, like we mentioned before. We've got people from Ingram Spark, who does a lot of the printing of my books. You got the head of publishing at Kickstarter out there. Chris Kennedy runs a science fiction writing imprint, which is absolutely incredible. Everything these guys do is gold, 100%. And there's Richard Fox. Jonathan Brazy's another longtime great writer. Richard Fox is still on the site, incidentally enough. And here it is, a winner of the 2017 Dragon Award Best Military Science Fiction Fantasy Novel, best known for his Ember War Saga, a military science fiction space opera series. His writing draws extensively from his experiences in the U.S. Army, received 2 combat tours in Iraq, was awarded the Bronze Star and Combat Action Badge and Presidential Unit Citation. He lives in Las Vegas with his family. Good family man, good guy, great writer. And highly recommend all around. What he didn't mention on there, just beyond his stuff, is that Baen Books actually took notice of him. And Baen Books is, of course, one of the biggest publishers out there. They have published a collaboration with David Weber, who's just another amazing industry giant in science fiction. And Richard's got a couple of his own books out through Baen Books as well. Which are fantastic. The Shattered Star Saga, I can't recommend enough. A great book. But we're going to focus on the Ember War because Richard gets 100% of the profits from that. It's his own self-published deal. Fantastic. It's about alien invasion, and basically Earth gets just like wrecked, and a bunch of people, have gone off in ships. They come back and try to like retake Earth after the alien invasion's kind of over, and it starts from there as they try to fight back as this group. Tries to like eradicate all life in the galaxy, and we have to face off against that. It's a lot of fun. Now, that's his books, and the Ember Wars sold hundreds of thousands of copies. I mean, it's huge. So I mean, it's just wild how successful this guy's been. He has a lot of wisdom and insight for this author conference that would be good to have him on, right? The program, like I said, it's not like a lot of other science fiction conventions or Gen Con or anything like that. You don't see a lot of like, how to be an ally in fandom. Like, I mean, that's not what this conference has always traditionally just been, business focused. Lulu simplified everything you need to know. Ads and covers with BookBrush, Crave Book Products demo. Write your series with Pseudo-Write. These things, written word media promo demo, plotter hands-on demo. So these are author tools out there. And so you get quite a bit, from indie to industry leader. So they're teaching you how to, do things here. Pretty interesting stuff. Now, it should be good. And like Richard Fox, like I said, I've seen him speak at the conference a couple times. He's been there as a perennial guy, who's done this and, has a lot of wisdom. But not anymore, because the Pronoun Gang is here. So on their new speaker panelist survey, and this is new to their Author Nation rave, they call it rave. I mean, is it a rave? Is it a party? Is that what's happening at this point? I don't know what that is. But on their new panelist survey, he actually put and filled out the survey here. They got pronouns listed there. And so Richard Fox is like, you know what? I'm not dealing with that because pronouns are nonsense. I don't subscribe to woke gender ideology. I oppose that kind of thing. And you're not going to just like do this to me. And so he put F off as his pronouns, which is pretty funny. A little more crude than I would have done. I usually like when I go into these things, and I've been banned from conventions for doing this too. But I put like Sire, Your Majesty, or Attack Helicopter. Because pronouns are stupid. And obviously Richard is a man. And a man is a man, a woman is a woman. Stop and leave us alone. But they can't leave you alone. So he didn't, once he did this, he got a call from their Ethics and Safety Committee. Now, this is pretty interesting because nowhere on their website does it list that there's an Ethics and Safety Committee. Nowhere does it say who's on it or what exists there. And he told he would not be speaking anymore. He was being removed from the convention because of, quote, ethics and safety. Now, this is a private forum. This is not public anywhere. He wasn't bothering anybody. This isn't something that's like he went out and, attacked anybody personally or anything like that. This is just a private forum for his own stuff. And, as you can see, had the pronouns on there just to bother him. And that's what they do. They try to force this on us by compliance, by just having it there, by putting it in our face, and we better comply or they're going to kick us out. And that's how they manipulate the culture, right? And so now 20 books to 50K, now the Author Nation has become a SJW woke gatekeeping police, attacking a Baen Books author, attacking Richard Fox, and this is wild. And again, that even though the Ethics and Safety Committee said that he violated their rules of conduct, there are no rules of conduct listed on the site. I just went through this entire site right here. There's no rules of conduct. It's just partners, things of that. So Richard did not violate any stated rules. They made up rules just because they knew he identifies himself as a conservative by doing this, right? Because like a liberal would always be all about the pronouns, of course. And so now he's being attacked personally. He's removed and he's banned. Why? Not because of any rules that were stated or anything like that. Nothing he knew, but because they are going to make up rules because they've identified him as other. And this is what they do every single time. This is how these people act. So, this is the Author Nation. Obviously, I condemn this event at this point. If they're going to go woke and if they're going to remove people because they want to shove pronouns in people's faces on these little questionnaires, leave us alone. Stop with the pronoun crap. It doesn't have anything to do with author businesses. Doesn't have anything to do with your stated mission. This is something that's a travesty, and Richard Fox deserves justice here. So on my Substack article, which I'll leave my Substack in the description below, I put their little contact form on here. They got a contact form. Hello at Author Ventures LLC if you want to talk to them. And just say, banning a conservative author because of nebulous reasons is not okay. Reinstate Richard Fox. That's what we want. We got a professional code of conduct now. Oh, good. Let's look at this. So, expected behavior, harmful behavior. Here we are. Harassment, discrimination may include verbal, physical conduct based on sex, sexual orientation, gender expression, or identity. Well, now this is interesting. So this is their own the deal. So if Richard Fox, by the way, let's just look at this. His gender expression and identity is F off. Okay, they just banned him based on his gender expression. So by their own rules, right here, they have now violated their own rules in this, and they need to condemn themselves. So there you go. He didn't put any inappropriate nudity or sexual images in public spaces, boisterous, lewd, or offensive behavior or language. I guess they could get him on that. Now, this is interesting because I did not see this. It's not listed really on their main page. You have to go find it. And of course, it is hidden on their website in their About Us and within this link right here. So I didn't know this going into the video. I found it. I was like, oh, there it is. I don't know if this was up before or if this is up as a result of Richard sending that form in, but he's clearly being discriminated against because here's a couple things. Religion-wise, Christians cannot conform to this gender ideology stuff. So if he does not want the gender ideology stuff in there, they're discriminating based on religion. They are. Gender expression, that is his gender expression and identity. He put it out there himself. He's not talking about anybody else's. This is his pronouns. They're not respecting his pronouns. So therefore, transgender status, I guess he has that now. F off has that. I'm sorry to misgender you, Richard. So again, this stuff is literally just designed to discriminate against conservatives, right? And it's not meant to uphold any, because it doesn't make any sense, because Richard didn't bother anybody based on there or anything else. He just made it known that he does not want to deal with the pronoun game, obviously. And so they can't respect that about him. And so they have to go after him. And that's why these code of conducts are all just hypocrisy at the end of the day. It's all about right think, liberalism, and it's a mental disorder. And it's encouraging people into evil, and that's why we fight it here. So justice for Richard Fox, my friends. Let's get him going here and let them know that you're upset about this and you would like him to speak at the conference. And also, please do grab The Ember War. I'll put this in the description below. It's a great book. We'll be back soon.